5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Win the toss and win the game was the rule in the series, and it was the fourth game. Alternate victories for both the teams. It was other norm in the series, but in this game, India lost the toss but win the game. What a gripping game of cricket it has been, and some controversies, but a game full of excitement, and the game which is enjoyed by most of the cricket fans, because it went down to the wire, it went down to the 20th over, and what a game it has been. A game full of ebbs and flows, full of turnaround. So it started with the toss, England winning the toss, again deciding to field first. And India had a couple of changes. Chahal was dropped and Rahul Chahar replaced him, whereas Ishan Kishan had some fitness issues. So Surya Kumar Yadav was back in once again, the man who owned the Indian innings, or rather who owned the day. For England, they were unchanged. India came on to bat. Rohit Sharma started off the Indian innings with a 6-over long off, and then he got out early. A soft dismissal of Jofra Archer, who picked 4 wickets in the day, and then it was the day of Surya Kumar Yadav, as I mentioned. Debut innings and 57 on debut for Surya Kumar Yadav. An innings full of stroke play, elegance, and you can say we saw a couple of shots which were his trademark shots. He started his international journey with the 6. He pulled one over deep fine leg. So we saw one inside out. So magnificent knock, and then very, very unfortunate that he was given out on a ball which everyone saw that was completely grounded by David Malan. So which will actually cause some stir in the international arena, and the fans are still talking about that dismissal, because not once there were couple of instances where umpire actually misjudged or made some errors, because in this case the soft signal was out. Actually, the meaning of soft signal is over and above my head, because an umpire who's standing on the pitch, how can he see far away to the deep fine leg boundary? So however, it's obligatory for an umpire to give the soft signal. Maybe he could have given out. So there was no conclusive evidence, as was stated by the third umpire, Virendra Sharma, and he gave Surya not out, which was actually in contrast to what happened. But 57, again, a magnificent knock, a majestic knock, and a statement in a statement which he gave to the spectators, that yes, it's Surya Kumar Yadav arriving at the big stage. So today, sun, as you say, Surya in English is sun. So sun shone beautifully. And then it was Shreyas Iyer down batting at number 6, hit some beautiful shots, 37 runs from the bat of Shreyas Iyer off just 18 deliveries. Pandya coming down. 185 was the total score of Indian innings. And then Washington Sundar hit one where Adil Rashid's leg was clearly touching the boundary rope while grabbing that catch, but that was also given out because of inconclusive evidence. But in that case, I don't think any conclusive evidence more than that was required, because everyone was watching clearly on that television sets that his leg was touching the boundary cushions. So 185 was the Indian total, and when England came on to bat, a disciplined bowling effort from Bhuvneshwar Kumar started off with the maiden, got Butler out early, then Roy again got out in 40s, and then Bairstow and Ben Stokes, who was in sublime touch today, started bailing out England and stabilizing England. So, and then came the moment of second innings. It was the 16th over where Shardul Thakur came in and a couple of successive wickets. First, Ben Stokes out at long off, and then Owen Morgan again disguising him with his slow ball. So in this series, Shardul has used his slow balls quite judiciously. So that was one thing, and 177 for 8 is the total score of England in the second innings, as you can see in the scorecard on your mobile screens. That 177 for 8. Jofra Archer tried his level best, 18 runs off 8 deliveries, but he could not pull off a win for England. And the basic difference, if you look down as the difference of the match, then you'll find that the last 5 overs were the major difference, whereas in which India piled 57 runs, losing 3 wickets, whereas England managed to fetch just 45, losing 3 wickets. So the difference of 12 runs, and that is what ultimately the difference as India won the game by 8 runs. So the basically at the 15 over mark, England were 4 runs ahead of India, because India were 128 for 4, whereas England were 132 for 4. So that 4 runs mark, they were ahead. England were ahead, but the last 5 overs where I think Indian bowlers completely outshined and outclassed England batters, because bowling and Shardul's couple of wickets was a major help for the Indian batters. Even Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowled well in the death overs, especially when there was a lot of dew on the ground. So gripping the ball was not that easy, as you say. This was due factor was to be kept in mind while we analyze or while we watch the figures of England in the last 5 overs and India in the last 5 overs, along with the decisions made by the umpires. But still, ICC should look into this soft signal call, because an umpire who's standing near the bowler on the 22-yard pitch actually cannot see or cannot look what's happening right there at the boundary, and especially in the deep boundaries, deep fine leg, deep square leg. So this is something which needs to be looked upon by the umpires. Now talking about Surya Kumar Yadav, who is actually blasted in the international arena, and before this we saw Ishan Kishan performing so well, 2 Mumbai Indians players, this actually speaks volumes about the Mumbai Indians franchisee, as well as how they groom players, because these 2 were uncapped players, and Mumbai Indians continued actually stuck with them, and they are giving results. Along with that, this also speaks volumes about the Indian Premier League and its quality, because the youngsters which are coming now, they are actually well prepared for the international arena. They are well prepared to play at the top stage. We saw right there from Australia, we saw Washington Sundar, Shardul Thakur performing there. So it's the IPL, it's the grouping of the IPL exposure which they get in the Indian Premier League, sharing the dressing room with with some of the legends of the game, AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. There are so many players to learn from, and IPL has actually been a very good, you can say, very good scouting system for the Indian cricket, because right from Bumrah, Hardik Pandya, there are many players who come right away from the IPL, and they are prepared for playing at the top stage, and that's what Surya Kumar did show today. Even he could have batted longer if that decision of third umpire Ravindra Sharma had been a bit more correct to say, because another decision, because one mistake is acceptable, but same kind of mistake twice isn't acceptable. So this match was also known for being a match of soft signals, and Twitterati is almost having a field day as Viren Sharma gave them a chance to have some meme play. Then talking about India, they again went with five bowlers. Now in this game, Shardul was expensive. Washington Sundar obviously conceded 52 runs in his 4 overs. Hardik Pandya was a major bonus as he just conceded 16 runs in his 4 overs quota and picked a wicket as well, or rather 2 wickets as well. But Hardik Pandya, the way Virat Kohli used Hardik Pandya, again, you have to praise Virat Kohli for this, bringing him in the power play. And then five bowlers, as I was mentioning, the five bowler strategy of India. Again, it looks skeptical to me, goes out over and above my head that India is still going in with that five bowler strategy. It might pay off someday, but it's more of a risk because if unfortunately one bowler goes for big runs, as Washington went for 52, or rather two bowlers go for big runs, and even if one is injured, then you don't have any bowling option, and you have only Rohit and Virat to roll their arm over. So this is one thing which they need to look upon. Rest, it was a perfect game not only for the Indian cricket team, perfect game for the spectators as well. The game which went down to the wire, and you can say a gripping contest, a riveting contest, which the fans thrive for. It's a perfect payback for their money. Although there were no spectators on the ground due to this COVID-19 protocol. Apart from that, a good game where there were a lot of turnarounds, especially the innings of Ben Stokes. It was a substantial innings as far as England are concerned, because the innings of Bairstow and Ben Stokes actually brought them on the track, and they were in the game. But again, that 16th over, as I mentioned previously, that 16th over of Shardul Thakur, where he picked successive wickets, first of Ben Stokes and then the English skipper Owen Morgan. This moment was, I think, the clinching moment where India had a firm grip, or took a firm grip over the game. First thing, and second thing about the five bowler strategy, we saw Hardik Pandya batting at 7. Now, if Hardik Pandya bats at 7, he's a bit more underutilized, and this has been a problem for India. If Hardik going in with five options and Hardik Pandya batting at 7, even Shreyas Iyer batted at 6, although he batted really beautifully and took the bowlers to the cleaners. But Shreyas Iyer batting at 6, Hardik batting at 7, it's a bit more underutilization of both the players. Hardik just faced 8 deliveries out of the 120 balls, whereas Hardik is needed in those death overs so that he can hit the bowlers all over the park, and you can actually fetch more and more runs in those last 5 overs, which are also considered as the death overs. But all in all, really good performance from India, considering they lost the toss. There was a lot of dew, and they were going in with just 5 bowling options. So today, Hardik Pandya, the way he bowled, that was extremely well. One positive, major positive for India. Again, KL Rahul got out. He was looking in good touch today, but he played a shot which was rightly intended but not perfectly executed, as to say, and a soft dismissal towards mid-off. So KL Rahul, I think he's coming after a long break, so we need to give him time, and let's see whether India goes with KL Rahul or not in the 5th game. Rohit Sharma also was looking good. So all in all, the approach of Indian batting was good today. Not too speedy and not too patient. They were going in with the right approach, and as to say, they're playing on the merit. They were looking for runs rather than just hanging out there. So this 185, they actually made 185 runs, and which was actually needed because they were batting first and had limited bowling options. So the onus today was on the Indian batters, and it was a do or die game for India because, as you all know, the series was on stake, and whenever there is a do or die game for India, India has performed really well. The stats speak that they've performed really well. 86% is the winning ratio, winning margin in do or die games. So now this was the do or die game for India. The next game is the do or die game for both of the teams as far as this series is concerned, because the series is at stake, and now the series is leveled at 2-all. So we'll wait for England to see whether they make any changes in their 11 or not, or they stick with the same 11. But today, India made a couple of changes, and let's see. And now it's a big headache for India because if Ishan Kishan gets fit and Surya is also there, so let's see who goes in and who goes out and who comes in. So this will be an interesting aspect to watch out, that what will be the team which will field for India in the next game. So this was it today, and this was the whole summary, whole happening of what the game was. Enthralling contest, a contest to watch out for. But again, at last, one thing to which I'll emphasis on is the soft signal call, and it's obligatory for an umpire. So ICC should look into this soft signal call, because this is something which can actually turn out or rather change the flow of a match. Surya Kumar Yadav was the one who was making his debut. So had he not struck his 50, and he would have been on in his initial stages of his innings, and this decision would have been a decisive one for him as far as his career is concerned. So this thing needs to be looked upon, because not once, the mistake has been committed twice in this game. So this thing is need to be looked upon by ICC, because it's something technical, and it has been made obligatory for the umpires to give the soft signal. But in that case also, umpire could have given not out, because if third umpire couldn't find something conclusive out of 10 to 15 replays, then how can a umpire standing at least 60 to 65 meter 60 to 65 meter far could judge whether the catch was taken or not? So in all the pragmatic way, this needs to be sorted out by ICC. This is something which is not good in the 21st century and in the game like cricket. So that was it, viewers. We'll tune in on match day, the 5th T20I game, day after tomorrow. We'll meet here at this Go Beyond Sports channel post the game. For this, you need to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you are notified whenever we come live. And our timings, as you all know, we come straight in after the game. So that is it for today. Goodbye. Good night.